What's going on, everybody? This is Shok, and I haven't done a vid like this in a while, but things need to be addressed. And I want to do this like ever since January, February, but definitely after this week, it's the last straw, and something has to be said about it because it's getting out of hand, and it's just freaking ridiculous. Now, in general, this applies to all gamers, everywhere, right? Gamers always talk about how they hate negativity, they hate people always being pessimistic, and yet that's all people ever pay attention to. That's all people want to lock on to, right? They hate the drama vids or whatever, they hate the negativity, yet those are the videos that get the most views. Those are the videos that actually get video responses. Let me ask you guys a question. Are there more video responses to something negative being said or something positive being said, right? See, nobody wants to reply to somebody and just have like a normal conversation or a discussion, or kind of like agree with them but explain one thing they disagreed with, or just give a different perspective or view or whatever, right? Nobody ever does that, right? When somebody says something positive, everybody's just like, oh, okay, and that's it. They don't really think much of it, no response or anything. Nobody wants to add to the discussion, anything like that, whatever. But the minute somebody says something they don't disagree with, oh, tons of comments, tons of video responses, all that jazz. So this pretty much applies to the mindset of gamers these days in general, everybody in all the fan bases. But in particular in this video, I want to focus, of course, on the Nintendo fan base, and particularly the one here in this community, the ones who watch me and are subbed to me. I'm going to address these guys right now because it's really, really getting ridiculous and out of hand. But I just find it funny, right? And first off, let me just say that I wholeheartedly understand and agree that I am negative. Yes, this channel has definitely taken a negative turn. So I'm not here, right, to sit here and be like, oh no guys, I'm so positive. Like, I'm always freaking positive. I'm not gonna sit here and say that because that'd be a lie. So of course I do see and understand that I have been negative. I've been fully aware of that. Fully aware. Because see, unlike a lot of you guys, I see myself, I have self-awareness, I can think critically, and I am analytical, both of myself and others. A lot of people don't like to do that. They just love to give knee-jerk reactions. Somebody says something they disagree with, something's wrong with that person's negative, that person's, this and that, yada yada, fake Nintendo fan, fraud, all that stuff. That being said, there has been a lot of positive things I have said, but like I said in the beginning of this video, all people want to do is lock on to the negative. That's all they want to do. But let me give an example of what I'm talking about, because whenever I make a claim, I back it up. I back it up with something that actually happened. I back it up with an example, so that way I'm not talking out of my ass. Maybe you guys should consider doing the same thing. But nobody ever wants to remember when positive things are being said, right? And the example I want to first bring up is when the Splatoon voice chat news came out, that Splatoon wasn't going to have voice chat, right? I remember Mr. T had did a video response to a video I had did after that or whatever. He was and thank you, T, for that response. That's one of the few responses that I've gotten in years that's just a pure gaming discussion, right? It's not calling names, it's not like, oh, this guy is just freaking ridiculous. It was just a legitimate video response where he was like, well, here's the way I see it, and stuff like that. Thank you for that video. But somebody on there had left a comment, and they're like, I just don't understand how this dude Shokio, right? He just comes back out of nowhere whenever there's negative news, right? He wants to come back negative. He doesn't want to talk about, this good stuff that's been happening and stuff like that. And people left the same kind of comments, similar comments on other people's videos, right? But the funny thing about during that time, the funny thing about those instances is that was made during the time where my last video before the Splatoon voice chat thing, right, was my Nintendo Direct review, my direct review of the Direct that happened in January. And it was a positive review. I actually liked that Direct, and I actually come out the gate saying I was really surprised to see people not like this Direct, because I actually thought this Direct was pretty good, right? So you guys see where I'm getting at, right? I've been kind of inconsistent here on YouTube. I've taken like month hiatuses, and stuff like that. It's December, I take a month hiatus. Nintendo Direct happens, I say, oh, this Direct was pretty great, right? And nobody really pays attention to that. some weeks later or whatever, I'm like, Splatoon doesn't have voice chat. This is bullshit. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, he wants to come back with all this negative shit, right? But the last video I did before that was positive. You see what I'm saying? That's pretty much the main gist. The main point I'm making with this video. People only want to lock on to the negative. Everybody sweeps all the positive stuff I say out the window. Like I said, yes, I definitely have been more negative than anything on this channel, but you guys are acting like it is a 99 to 1% kind of thing, right? You guys act like I have nothing positive to say ever. My last video I did, another example, that was actually a positive video. If you go back and actually listen to what the fuck I am saying, that was actually a positive video, people. A lot of you guys read the title. You pretty much assume that there was a negative connotation with that or whatever, that I had a negative impression and you disliked it. I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt and say that happened, because there's no way you actually sat there, watched that video and thought that was actually a negative video. Because for those of you who didn't watch it, or for those of you who did, but you didn't actually listen to what I'm saying, because there's a difference between, watching and listening, or hearing and listening. There's a difference. But the point I made in that video, it was like, my reaction wasn't like, oh, this looks bad. My reaction was, this is unexpected. I didn't expect it to look like this. But, and the point I was making, the main point I was making in that video was, oh, because it's, heavy on the anime stuff. Oh, because it's a heavy Japanese flavor. That doesn't mean anything. That has no bearing on the quality of the game. And I was like, I'm going to try to expand my horizons, get past that, and just enjoy the game for its core values. That's what I said in the video. Essentially, I actually defended the game, right? Because a lot of people are like, what is this anime weeb shit? I'm not playing that at all. I came out in that video and I said that, yes, it has a strong, anime Japanese flavor, kind of like too heavy for a lot of people. But none of that stuff has anything to do with the quality of the game. None of that stuff is going to have to do with the battle system. None of that stuff is going to have to do with the story, right? None of that stuff is going to have to deal with the, the character progression and stuff like that. That's what I said. But people thought I was dissing the game somehow. Oh, because I said it's not what we expected. But pretty much, what I really should have done with that title is put Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem is not what we expected, but that's okay. I should have added that's okay part to that title, because that's essentially what I was saying in that video. Because none of those things are actually bad things. The fact that it's heavy, Japanese styled, that's not a bad thing. It's just a different thing. It's just flavor. And I used the term flavor in that video. But a lot of people took that as Shokio thinks the game is terrible. I don't understand it. I don't understand when I actually defended the game. I pretty much was saying, I'm not going to try to get too wrapped up in the whole, flavor that it has and the style and stuff. And I don't think other people should as well. The combat can still be amazing. The story can still be amazing. Yada, yada. This could be amazing. That could be amazing. That's what I said. But people still wrote that off as a negative video. So if you're one of those people who thought that was a negative video, I want you to go back and watch it and actually listen to what the fuck I was saying. Because I was actually defending the game. And I was actually like, you know what? I'm going to broaden my horizons and try to get past aesthetics, right? And just enjoy the game for what it is. Those are all things I said. I'm not making it up. Go back and watch the video, right? Those are all things that I said. Let me give a third example. When I went to E3 last year and I played Smash, I literally said, this is the best Smash game by far. But because I added in, I feel that it's the weakest competitively, everybody's like, Shokio thinks Smash is shit. He thinks Smash 4 is shit. Oh my God, right? So despite, I said it's the best Smash game to date. Just overall in general. And that was based off a demo I had played. I was like, this gameplay is freaking fun. These items are fun. I like the impact feel when you hit somebody with a heavy attack. I was like, this gameplay is great. But all because I said, I think it's the weakest competitively. See what I'm saying? People completely just forgot about what I had said prior to that. Which is, it's the best Smash game by far, which is a pretty fucking positive thing to say, if you ask me, right? That saying is better than Brawl, that saying is better than Melee, that saying is better than 64. I was like, this is the best Smash game to date. But at the same time, I also think that it's the weakest competitively. But that's okay because it's not trying to be competitive. That's not what they're aiming for. So of course it's going to be weak competitively. That's what I said, right? But people completely just threw the positive part out the window. Just focus on the negative, right? I could say, oh, I think this Nintendo Direct was amazing, but I didn't like this one part. If you're like, Shokio shitting on the Direct, he said he didn't like that one part, he shit on the Direct, and you forget about all the positive things I had to say about it. So that's pretty much the point I want to make in this video, right? You guys claim you hate negativity and all this bullcrap, but really, and I guess it's human nature, all you guys want to do is focus on the negative. That's all y'all want to fucking do. Because I've had a lot of positive things to say, but all the positive things I have to say get swept under the rug. They really do. And I just provided 3 examples, so I'm not speaking out my ass. I'm not making this up. This isn't baseless. These are things that have been happening on my channel for a long while now. I've had plenty of positive things to say. It's just that a lot of the time I put it alongside the negative, and for you guys outweigh the positive with the negative. You guys choose to focus on the negative parts. But outside of that, I just made my main point in the video. I can end it right here. But outside of that, I want to just bring up some other things, right? My negativity isn't baseless, people. For those of you who now hate me, who used to like me, back in the days where I was, more positive or whatever, I'm still the same guy, right? I use the same logics. I use the same reasonings. All it is that there's been a positive to negative shift. Why? Because there's been a positive to negative shift with Nintendo. I bring up the Wii U sales a lot, and people think that it's me being upset at the sales. No, I bring up the sales because the sales are indicative of exactly why my channel took a negative turn. Because those sales are happening for a reason. You see what I'm saying? I always reiterate that the Wii U's performance is happening for a reason. My channel isn't la-di-da-di-da, everything's happy-go-lucky joy-joy, because the Wii U is not happy-go-lucky joy-joy. Nintendo right now is not happy-go-lucky joy-joy. You see what I'm saying? My channel is a Nintendo-based channel, right? So if Nintendo keeps fucking up continually, if the Wii U is dry as a bone, my channel is going to reflect that, and my attitude is going to reflect that. Y'all see what I'm saying? So yes, I have been pretty negative and stuff, but just always keep in mind and pay attention that it's not baseless negativity. It's not, it's not unjustified. You guys act like it's just pulled out of nowhere. There's no reason for him to be negative about that, whatever, yada, yada. And as far as the directs go, guys, that just goes down to whatever the hell interests the individual. I don't care about amiibos, so therefore I wasn't going to be too interested in that direct, considering most of it consisted of amiibo talk. And I sure as hell don't care about Animal Crossing and Animal Crossing TLC Home Improvement. Like I had to refer to it in that direct. I don't care about that stuff, so naturally I'm not going to be interested in it. And that's another thing. You guys just got to learn to accept that everybody isn't going to be into the stuff that you guys are going to be interested in. Everybody, here's the thing. Regarding this direct video specifically, oh, one more thing. Back to my first point about how people want to, focus on the negative. People are like, you think every direct is shit, right? And somebody has said that in the comments, and so I linked them to the last direct I was talking about in this video, the one I did in January. He was like, and somebody else had commented, he was like, well, that's just one direct. And then I linked them to 5 directs where I gave positive reviews of, right? There's probably more than that, but I just kind of did a quick search and just linked those because I remembered that I gave a positive review of those directs. See? And he completely forgot about those videos. He completely forgot about it existed because, like I said, all the positive things I have to say, all the positive videos I actually do get swept under the rug. They do. But yeah, going back to the directs, I think the main problem people have with people who don't like directs is like everybody likes to be hyped up, right? And when they come to my channel, chances are they're not going to get the hype up that they want, right? I'm not an Etika, or anything like that. If you guys want hype, if you guys want somebody to tell you that every mother-loving thing in the world is just absolutely amazing, like, oh my fucking god, I am coming because there's Splatoon amiibos, and I'm coming just come guzzling because there's NES demos on amiibos. You're not going to get that here. You get that other channels, you're not going to get that here. I'm not a hype man. I'm not going to hype you guys up. Because I understand that when somebody sees something and they think that's great, they want to hear what other people have to say about it. Like, oh yeah, I want to hear somebody else excited for it. That's a great feeling, and I understand that. But I'm not gonna be that man for y'all. If I don't feel that it was great, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to sway how I feel. I'm not going to sway my reactions. I'm not going to overreact on purpose to give a, overly, optimistic and positive, reaction to something. That's not me. I'm sorry. But I think that's pretty much where the main problem with these, direct reviews come from is people like to be hyped because they're hyped. And when somebody brings a differing perspective, right, that may not be as positive, it kind of kills their hype, and they get mad at you for killing the hype. A lot of you may say, no, that's not what it is. It's literally just the fact that you're, pessimistic or whatever. Honestly, think about it, think critically, analyze. For a lot of you, I'm sure that's exactly what the problem is. It's psychology. That's how humans work. That's how humans work. But like I was saying, a lot of this positive sway my channel has taken has been, well, look around. The last Wii U game that we could really sink our teeth into was, Smash in November. We've been dry since November, people. It's April now. The only thing that's came out in 2014 was Kirby. And that's not even like, a deep game or whatever, right? It's kind of like just one of those games that, you play. It's a bridge game is pretty much, what I'm saying. And it definitely doesn't appeal to everybody. I don't want to play a game where Kirby is like rolling around. If I want to play a Kirby game, I want to play a platformer. You know what I mean? But this whole rolling around thing does really interest me, right? Look around. Whenever you guys are like, Shokio is so negative, yada, yada, I want you guys, whenever you say that, I want you to take a step back, take a deep breath, and look around at the current situation. The Wii U is dry as fuck, people. Both from a game-based perspective. I'm not saying it doesn't have a great library. I'm saying it does. I'm talking about when it comes to frequency of releases is what I'm talking about. Content from Nintendo. That's what I'm saying when the Wii U is dry. So from a game basis, from a feature basis, Wii U is dry, people. Wii U is dry. And again, you guys act like the sales performance is happening for no reason. You guys act like it's all the third party's fault. It's the gamer's fault. It's the mindset of gamers these days. No, guys. Most of it, sure, some of it is some select third party's fault. Some of it is probably some gamers and their mindsets and their refusal to, play certain games, stuff like that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but most of the blame falls on Nintendo. That's just a fact. That is just a fact. So look around. 'Cause honestly, there's not too much to be happy, joy for. The fact that we don't know if the Wii U is getting a certain feature is terrible, or even the next Nintendo system. The fact that we are unsure if the next Nintendo system will have something as simple as a party chat system is terrifying. That is bad. That is god awful. The fact that we don't even know if it's going to have standard features for the next generation system. We have no idea what Nintendo is going to include, right? Nintendo's mindset, their lack of awareness is scary right now. And yeah, Iwata, and he actually just said it recently too. He was like, yeah, we've been fucking up with the Wii U. He's admitted it again and stuff like that. And that's great that he can admit that they're doing stuff wrong. But it's like, does he understand, what they're doing that's wrong, right? Because he's like, oh, we're failing. It's underwhelming. The Wii U's performance is underwhelming, whatever. And that's great that he can realize that and recognize that. But it's a question of, does he actually understand what those causes are? You see what I'm saying? Does he understand what the actual underlying issues are? It's scary. Being a Nintendo fan is scary because we have more uncertainty out of any fan base. The Sony fan, they know what features are going to be in the PS5. You see what I'm saying? And then there's going to be more that they're not even going to think of that Sony's going to pull out. And that's great. But with Nintendo, we have no freaking clue. They've taken things out from the Wii to the Wii U. They've taken things out. We've lost some things in that transition, right? Such as, game gifting and a party chat system. While there wasn't cross-game chat on the Wii still at least had a freaking party chat, feature and stuff like that. The Wii had, like a picture mode, and then the photo channel. You could even watch videos in that photo channel. You could share photos, stuff like that. Yeah, technically speaking, the whole sharing thing was, is handled through Miiverse and stuff like that. But there's no actual app where you have like your stored, photos And there's no music either. There's no music, app on the Wii U or anything like that when there was on stuff on the Wii. So stuff has actually been taken away, from transition. So we might some stuff the Wii U has right now, we might even lose with the NX if the NX is indeed a console. See what I'm saying? You guys like wonder why like me and other Nintendo fans are like so negative. Like the way I see it, it is brutal being a Nintendo fan right now in this generation. It is very brutal. But to go ahead and wrap up this video, the one last thing I want to reiterate on is that there's a lot of negative things I don't talk about. I don't make videos on. You guys act like I make a negative video about everything that happens. No. Trust me, there's a lot more I could rip Nintendo a new one on that I haven't. Like the Zelda delay. They need that game out as soon as freaking possible, and understand that they're going to take their time to make a game as best as they can, and that's great, and I definitely respect that. But when your system is hurting so much, and you need your pretty much biggest gaming franchise that you have outside of Mario, like you need to launch that as quickly as possible. I could have harped on that, but I didn't. This whole thing they're doing with claiming people's videos, their whole new YouTube policy and stuff like that, I could definitely rip them a new one on that, because all that stuff is bullshit. Them taking down, speed runs and, task videos people doing of like, these old school, Super Mario games, the platformers and stuff like that. I could harp on that. I really can. Nintendo canceling, that Super Mario 64 HD remaster people were doing, which was a free non-profit project a fan was doing. They took it down. Could have got on them about that. But did I? No. Like I said, people don't think, people don't look around, they don't analyze. There's a whole lot more. If you guys think I'm being like all extra hard on Nintendo, there's a whole lot more I could be giving them flack for. And even in that last direct, although I thought that last direct was pretty bad for the most part, like I said in the comment section, I was like, I'm not gonna really go too hard on this direct because it's before E3, so I'm glad that they get these smaller, more irrelevant kind of things, out of the way, because these are definitely things that I don't want to see around or during E3 time. See what I'm saying? So I pretty much actually ended up giving the direct a pass. Really, I was pretty much, it's bad, but it's okay that it was that bad. It's pretty much what I said, but people don't listen. People do not listen. Whenever I do give Nintendo a break, whenever I do give them props, it's not heard. It's not heard by you guys. It really isn't. One last thing. I know that I said that's the last thing I was going to say. But one last thing I want to say is that you can be overly optimistic, right? Essentially speak, like, pretty much what I'm saying is too much optimism could be just as bad as too much optimism. And sometimes too much positivity can be unhealthy. When you have everybody being overly positive all the time about everything, that is bad, because you cannot realize a problem, and thus you cannot solve a problem if you are overly positive all the goddamn time. So keep that in mind, people. I think that me and my channel is pretty damn healthy for this community. It's for the Nintendo community in general, because there's too many overly optimistic, overly positive Nintendo fans who just cannot see the wrong in anything they do at all. And that is bad. And that is just as unhealthy as somebody being overly negative, people. Because being blind is dangerous. Being blind to the bad is just as dangerous as being blind to the good. Write down that quote, put it on your wall, so every morning you wake up, you read that, and you can understand what I'm doing here. Because there really isn't, okay, first off, most of the negativity regarding Nintendo is from people who aren't even Nintendo fans, right? So most of the Nintendo negativity is coming from, bullshitty gamers who aren't even current Nintendo fans in the first place, see what I'm saying? So when it comes to actual Nintendo fans, where Nintendo is still their company of choice, Nintendo systems are still their systems of choice or whatever, there's really isn't any Nintendo fans out there speaking up, calling Nintendo on their bullshit. So I personally think that I'm healthy for this community. I personally think what I'm doing is a good thing, because I'm a balance. Nintendo needs to hear some things from their fan base. That's not like, it's okay, Nintendo, that's great, that's fine. They need to hear that we are unhappy with a lot of the things that they are doing. And we can't do that in a community that is overly positive and overly optimistic about everything. I dragged this video on long enough though, guys. Thanks for watching. Be more aware. Pay attention. Listen to the context, people. And you'll be good. I'll see you guys later.